I've been preaching this for several weeks. I've been preaching this in every single conversation that we have because I think it's the purest way to get true connection. Answering your clients' questions and having that draw your new clients to you. So, what does it actually mean to answer your clients' questions on social media? So, super easy goal. I want to help you guys convert exactly what you're talking about every single day, the real questions that you're having, to turn it into intentional social media posts that are going to actually bring you new clients. I think the biggest thing that we all kind of in all of our industries over stress is the fact of, oh well, this is too basic, oh well, this is too basic because I talk about it every day, because I know the answer that quickly, because I've reiterated it to my client 5 times. But here's the thing: you answer it every day. That means your clients care about it. You've reiterated it several times, right? So for you, it might not be something earth shattering. It might not be worth posting, but to the clients, it's exactly what they're asking. I think the biggest thing is answering what those questions are and then how to flip it into creative. And thankfully for both of you, we're answering that today. So I want you guys to think basically, like super, super basic, ground level, like elementary. Why do these questions matter? People are asking you those questions because you're the authority in that space, right? Whether they're asking you a condo question, or starting out and they're buying, or they're selling and they have a question about relocation, or whatever it ends up being, right? They perceive you as the value there. There is basically an infinite supply of consumers that are going to ask that same question, hundreds, thousands, and they're always looking online. And a good portion of them are not working with agents. So the whole goal is the same conversation that you're having in private, make it public and do it the right way. So people are asking questions, people are validating their decisions, and they're validating what professional they trust through social media right now. That's what's being looked up. So if you understand how to capitalize on those things publicly, just like you are capitalizing on them with your consumers that are already in your world, you're gonna get half of the battle done. I always bring up the example, like the referrals that we get on the mortgage side from Brandon's Instagram. They're like the warmest referral from like the best client you've ever had, because they've watched us for months. They trust us. They believe in what we're saying because we're putting out the information that they're asking for and providing value. Exact same goal. So, identifying those questions. I want you to think this basic, and I'm going to show you how to flip them. How much money do I need to buy a house? What does the market actually look like right now? Is now a good time to buy, or do I wait? What does this downtown offer for lifestyle or nightlife? Where will my kids go to school, right? That's the generic, like, nucleus, we could call it, of the question. Basic. What are they looking for? Where are my kids gonna go to school? What's the house like? Do I need 20% down to buy it? But if you just parroted that every time on social media, you'd be making the same boring content that people don't want to watch, where you're like, if you're moving to Delray Beach, what school are your kids going to go to? Or, the generic topics. So I do want to identify one thing before we flip into how to make it creative. Do not, and I know I've reiterated this like 3 times, do not skip on the simple. The simple is where all the gold is, because it's simple to you. You do it every single day. A consumer transacts every 5 to 7 years. It's not simple for them. It's what they're basing their decisions on. So how do you flip it into something that's going to make somebody stop? Basic question: how's the market? You could make or lose thousands this year if you don't have. And then you flip it into whatever the topic is, whatever relevant is. So how's the market? That's a drawn out question. How's the market in Boynton Beach? How's the market in Delray? How's the condo market? How's the multifamily market? Right? So you can make or flipping this into an actual video, right? You can make or lose thousands this year if you don't have this. And what this is a clear indication of what market you're looking for. Everybody always asks, how is the market? But it's all specific to your market. If you're looking for condos, it's not the same thing as single family houses in Delray Beach, and vice versa. Single family houses in Boca have nothing to do with single family houses in Delray. So if you want to get specific into how the market is today, I'd love to get narrow with you on your market. So comment market 2026 and I'll help you out. Something like that, right? You see how you're still looping it back in, but it has to be something to stop people. People care about making money, saving money, or making their life easier. So if you can capitalize on that in the beginning of the video, you're going to get to talk to them about it. We have the time here, so I'll flip another one of these. I'll kind of go back here. How much money do I actually need to buy a house? You're going to lose thousands of dollars this year if you don't put the right amount of money down when you're buying your home. Let me explain. And then you talk strategy. You know, just because you have 20% down doesn't mean you need to use 20% down. You want to look at this, this, and this, which you kind of create what that drawn out looks like, but you're pausing them, right? You're going to make money. You're going to lose money. You're going to save time. You're going to improve your life. You want to do something like that. Your whole idea is your first 7 seconds of your video has to be the biggest, brightest red stop sign for that question, and then loop it in and give all the value in the world. I'm going to pause for just a second because I know I kind of fired off of like a fire hydrant for a second. It's like drinking from a water hose. If either of you have questions, fire off.
So I feel like working with buyers, since I'm a listing agent, the working with buyers, I'm having lender conversations and I don't want to.
Mhm.
Like everything that you just said there about like how much money do I need to buy a house? Like I would just refer to a lender and talk to them, like I want to capture buyers' attention with something more feely about where they want to live or something like that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I like staying in my lane.
The whole idea is, right, you're passing them off to have the lender conversation, but you want to have them to have the conversation in the first place, right? So drawing in the new conversations, you kind of got to spark on where they're at, right? So if they're not, you could spark them on the local, how we were talking about with the local content, the last, I think it was last week's episode, but you also need this content because the vast majority of people are going to seek education before they seek lifestyle. So, yes, you're referring them out, but they're asking this question and they want to talk to a realtor before they want to talk to a lender in a mass majority of the cases. So, you do want to lean in on stuff like this because it's the way that you're going to get them to raise their hand, you know, because they're at that stage of like, this is my biggest pivotal point. I'm not looking into what community I'm looking into before I know this, this, and this.
How much I can buy. Yeah.
Well, that, you know what, and that's that to me, right? Those questions right there are it's a perfect scenario where they're just so brand new. For somebody to say, "How much money do I need to buy this?" Then they have not a clue. They've never bought a house before. If you don't even have an inkling of how much money you need to buy a home, then
You,
you were the first person they're talking to.
you'd be
And same thing.
surprised. You'd be
Same thing with a
surprised how
rental,
many
though.
repurchase buyers are actually having those conversations. People have just been in their home for a long time because same
Yeah.
scenario. It's simple, but it was simple for them 7 years ago when it's a completely
Yeah.
different market 7 years in the future.
Whether you're right, though, whether they have a house or not, that question right there just tells me that they didn't even start really. You haven't even gone to a lender yet. You know what I mean? So you're putting the cart before the horse. They just want to talk about the market and that sort of same thing with rentals. What's the requirements? I'm like, oh no, here we go. What do you mean? You know what the require, and that's okay because then I get to explain them because I'd rather have them new and have nothing, know nothing, and let me explain it to them than them coming in already knowing more than I do.
Yeah, the whole
You know,
idea
they
is always simple. You want to be the authority, so even if they're not at the stage in the process, you educate them. The whole idea is they come to you, you funnel through whether they're ready, not ready, are they a database, are they whatever, but the whole idea is they're already raising their hand up saying, "Hey, I want to do this. Let's have a conversation about it." And I mean, that's a lead funnel with anything, you know? You go to an open house, you get 30 people that come in, 25 of them aren't buying anything ever. You make cold calls, you talk to 15 people, 10 of those people aren't ever going to do anything, ever. They're going to die in the house. But it's a numbers game. How many people can you contact to do business? And then you do more business than everybody else. I mean, that's the simple fact of it. You could always compound, right? Getting faster, getting more educated, getting better, but touch sport is still touch sport. I talk to 1,000 people, I'm gonna do more business than the guy who talked to 20 people, and it just works that way. This part, I want you guys, this is like the homework assignment. When you start making those questions, right, and playing with those hooks of feeding them into a creative, dump that into your chat GPT so it could learn how do you write scripts. So then when you feed it those questions, it already has an idea of how to flip it. So I'll go back 2 slides, or not even 2 slides. I would feed this question with this hook back into GPT so that the next time that I give it another series of questions like that, it already understands what I'm aiming for.
Go back to the slide right before this one. I think it was one more. Not the one that you
The
just did
questions.
right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send this out too at the end of the day.
Okay.
But yeah, think basic, super basic. Like the more basic, the better, because you're gonna do the filtering with them. The whole easiest part about this whole strategy with doing social media for people to put their hands up, you're not actively chasing them. They raise their hand, they say, "Hey, I want to talk to you." That takes 15 minutes out of your day, and you're either in or out, and you have an opportunity. Okay, this part I put in here, I want to focus on this. Garbage in, garbage out. Take your time to build those prompts that you're putting into GPT, what you're writing for the hook. This is what you're going to build your scripting on. So the more time that you put into like this hook for this topic, the better it's going to understand you. Take an action. I always leave with this part. If you don't do anything, nothing's gonna happen. If you don't make videos, if you don't post them, if you don't get engagement, if you don't engage with the engagement that you get, it's not gonna move the needle. So I could give all the secrets every single week, but you still need to go and execute on what we're talking about, make the content, make the mistakes, ask for help, and grow. Don't keep them in private. You're having these conversations. Make them public, have real conversations with people, feed that to social media. I'm here to help you guys scale it. Take the baby steps and I'll help you take the bigger leaps.